Printers, welcome back. Today I want to talk about investor psychology because many of you say, hey Simon, this crypto investing stresses me out. Equities investing stresses me out. I go back to ETFs. And other here say, ETFs are quite well protected, but I'm missing out on you guys 8xing, 12xing stuff. I want to get more risky. So let's talk about both because we have to balance. So if we are the risk type, we have to be aware of it and we have to create a system that protects. And if we are the safety type, we need a system that helps us also gain the upside and not just protect the downside. So in both cases, we need systems. And if you know, our philosophy here on the channel is that emotions should not drive your decision making. We are highly emotional. I'm Italian, I'm super emotional. I love Tesla and I love Apple and I hate Microsoft. But sometimes Microsoft is a good buy and sometimes Tesla is a good sell and sometimes Apple is a good sell. So I will not allow that I become victim of my emotions. I will have systems that tell me when to get in, when to get out, and then I will even automate them so that they automatically sell at some point and that they automatically buy at some point. And this is what I want to share with you, the journey as an investor from being victim of emotions to be not driven by emotions and have helpful systems. And I will share with you some insights about trading psychology, but also how you can create your own system, and I will share my own system in this session, all right? So, and by the way, let me share with you that I am drinking tea as I talk to you, and thank you to Greg in our community, who is an amazing friend that gives me tips on where to learn about tea and where to buy good teas, because that is for me one of the habits and one of elements of my systems that really helps me be just a calm follower of my own system. So let's grab a tea and jump into systems right now. So there are personality types. We have to think about risk reward and risk appetite, and we have to think about stages, right? And there are some pretty cool books and articles there. So personality types. If we just look at the numbers, this is not super hard science, but there is numbers showing that the winners are, in terms of personality types, the introverted, thinker, analytical people, and judger. Judger are people who always see the problems and are quite pessimistic, and the introverted because they just run the numbers and look at things instead of, being constantly inspired and on conferences. They sit down and do the boring numbers. So 81% of successes are with introverted, thinker, judger type of personalities. If you are like me, you are exactly the opposite, right? So you would be one of the losers, and I would definitely be if I would allow myself to go just with my intuition, because I'm a feeler, perceiver, intuitive person, and so I would jump from Tesla to Tesla instead of staying 3 years with Tesla, for example. And the feeler, perceiver types need systems even more than the others, because the others have the discipline to run the numbers. And so this is why it's important that you do a quick check and an awareness of which type are you. I don't think you have to go to any websites and do analysis. I think just you know yourself. What are your patterns? How do you tick? What moves you? And then create a balance in there. What is the element that you need more of? Build it into your system. Then there is risk appetite. Some people are risk lovers and some people are safety lovers, right? The risk lovers, they go hard into a few equities, into a few cryptos. They love crypto, of course, because, it's high risk, high reward. This is where money is made. They run into dips and they buy more they need a system to protect themselves from the wicks down, because you can have 90% drawdowns in crypto and in growth stocks as we are seeing them. So they need a system that protects them from the downside. And then there is the safety lovers. Safety lovers are people who can tell you everything about ETFs, and they have a utility ETF right now, and an energy ETF, and a commodity ETF, and they have emerging markets, iShares emerging markets, and iShares large cap, and iShares mid cap, and some Nasdaq, and some. No, the Nasdaq is too risky for them. They have some S&P 500, and so they have a very good protection from the downside. Congrats. They need a system that helps them, also gain from the opportunities, also having some upside exposure, not just downside exposure, because an ETF will never 12x. However, the length of your life is, even with modern medicine. And then you have investor stages, where basically at the beginning, whenever you start, of course you are more frantic and sporadic, and then bit by bit you go through the 6 stages, and there's an article that describes those 6 stages. Happy to share it with you. And then there is a book that I really like by Jake Ryan, and it's called Crypto Investing in the Age of Autonomy, and it's really good. He describes his own system, and he went through all the 6 stages, and it's really cool. Now, let's see if I can share the 6 stages article with you. Yeah, I think I can. So, strategysprints.com/blog, I wrote about the 6 stages from, being at the beginning very victim of emotions, to seeing the full picture, to building your own system and what that means for you. So six stages. And stage number 6, described very well by Vadim Grafer, is what I summarized here. Basically, you have rules and you follow those rules. Those rules protect you, but they give you also upside chance. So if you want to check that, it's strategysprints.com/blog, 6 investor stages, the name of the article. And now let me share with you the practical side, right? So the practical side, really, if you ask me, is that you need a system, and depending on your type, it needs either to protect you from risk or to give you more exposure to the upside. But the elements are the same for both, how you create it. Stage 1, you create your portfolio construction. So how much do you want in what? For example, real estate, how much do you want? I want 20% for my age and my risk appetite and my type and my goals. For me, 20% real estate is the right thing. And then how much crypto exposure do you want, and how much equity exposure do you want, and maybe how much cash do you want, and then maybe you have alternatives also. But for example, myself, right now it's 20% real estate, 35% crypto exposure, 35% equities, and 10% cash. That's what I mean right now. And in some stages of the year, I move to more cash, up to 20%. If I see that we have rotations into bear markets, because that's where I want to buy, and I move to less cash in other phases and cycles. And I always have my current and my ideal visualized so that I know what to rebalance, when to rebalance. I also think about the categories that I want to have. How much is in store of value? How much is in smart contracts layer 1? How much is in smart contracts layer 2? How much is in metaverse, etc. And I have a risk distribution, of course. How much safe plays and how much do I want to have in very risky plays. Same thing with equities. Where is my biggest allocation and where do I play more speculative bets? And it's really important that you have an entry system and an exit system. For example, right now, this is my current buy list. I will buy Tesla at 835, I will sell at 100 1480, whatever happens. Of course, when 1480 comes, I know that I will feeling, oh no, this goes to the moon, let me be part of the moon. But I will not let that emotion make me a victim. I will have set that limit order already, and it will sell automatically. I don't have to follow my emotions, I just follow my system because I trust my system, because it's enough months and years that I'm using it. And then I have my checklist, what do I do in weak markets and strong markets, but basically this is the system. This is the system. And then I have a few more rules that I don't go for 100x, I go for 10x, and for 10x, because I want to put in also just 1 hour per week, and I just need to hit 3 winners and 7 losers, and that's realistic with my capacity, time capacity and intellectual capacity. So yeah, I limit myself to a few assets, and that's a system, as you can see right now. So I drink my tea, chin chin, and I'm not driven by emotions. So if now friends call me and say, oh my god, you have to go in there, I say, yeah, thank you for the input, and maybe it becomes part of my research tomorrow morning, but maybe not. My research is independent of what happens, and I have in there numbers, and I feel emotions, but I don't let emotions drive me. And based on the numbers, I will improve the system, do more of what works, do less of what doesn't. I do both fundamental analysis and technical analysis, but I don't believe in both. Fundamental analysis is quite subjective, you don't have real numbers, but it tells me something about the pattern forwards. I want to know network effects, I want to know political risks, I want to know competition risks, distribution risks. All these kind of things I want to know because it tells me the risk. Now, that's not a hard number, it's subjective, it's not objective, but it tells me something about future pattern, and that's what I want to know. On the other side, you can do TA, technical analysis. That gives you objective numbers, but it's from the past, and past performance does not tell you anything about future performance, so I don't really care about numbers from the past. That's why I do TA just to determine entry points, but I don't rely on it because it's the past, and the past doesn't tell anything about the future. And there, Max Kaiser said that TA is astrology. TA is astrology for man. I think he's right. Still, I look at it in terms of doing better entry point decision in a short-term situation. So I still use them, but I do not completely rely on them. I rely on the full system and rebalancing and learning month by month, year by year, and becoming better and going through the 6 stages and staying in stage 6 and finding back to stage 6. Hope that helps. Let me know what you need next, and keep rolling, everybody.